Did you ever think, Mikey, in a million years we would have a show open that said recording in progress?
I'm sorry that it's there, ladies and gentlemen, but I wish it were more dramatic. I wish that it had some, maybe some trumpets, something, a 20th Century Fox theme.
Well, we might have to work on that. Maybe I'll try to in my.
We can, we can do that. We can do that, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, we'll have Vinnie and I will actually sing the open with a musical accompaniment. It'll be done. He'll send me the harmonies. We'll put it all together. You'll see.
Boom, boom,
see.
Boom, boom.
We may even record it live if we can. Boom. Da 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 da. The guy who wrote that was Randy Newman's grandfather.
I vaguely remember hearing that like a million years ago. Really?
Yeah. His family was the Newman family, the males of the Newman family for like 3 generations did music for the movies and pop and dissemination. And of course, Randy went back and wrote so many themes for movies and films with Disney and other people that he, after having a full career, went back and took up the mantle of writing for film like his ancestors had done.
But Randy Newman's finest. Cold Turkey was pretty good, his stuff in there, but there's one Randy Newman production that stands out to me over all others.
What is it?
And it's not I Love L.A.
No, I Wish It Would Rain Today.
Nope.
No.
Not even Riders on the Storm. Cop Rock.
Cop Rock by Randy Newman?
Cop Rock. Remember, he wrote the music for Cop Rock, Stephen Bochco's musical cop show.
I always wondered where the hell he got his influence. Here's a nice Jewish kid from LA, from a movie family, playing like he's Professor Longhair with Boogie Woogie, strictly out of New Orleans and in the 1920s South, singing about kingfish. What the hell?
He had that slide piano down, man.
They dropped this poor, nice little guy on his head. He could have been part of the Beach Boys, He should have been. His career should have looked like Captain and Tennille.
Yeah, Captain and Tennille, or Jack Nietzsche, or
Oh yeah. I would love to have met Jack Nietzsche.
Yeah,
love to have spent the day with him.
Yeah, pull any wrecking crew member, producer, out and hand him to Randy Newman. Although you got to think that they had met somewhere before, but he just seemed to be on another. He was on another level. Those guys were meat and potato musicians.
Yeah.
And Randy had something more, I don't know. Where did you don't happen to know where he went to school?
I don't know if he went to college, but if he did, I'll bet you anything it's like UCLA.
Yeah.
But I'm just guessing.
Maybe he picked it up, just from all the movie scores and everything that was going on in the house. You had to think that there was probably a whole ton of music going on, and interesting music and stuff that you wouldn't necessarily think that that style of music.
Another guy who dabbled in that style of music early on in his career was Harry Nilsson, and right. Harry Nilsson did a whole album of Newman songs called Nilsson Sings Newman, which you really got to check out. In fact, it contains one of the best Harry Nilsson songs ever, called The Beehive State. It's a song about Utah. Who in the world could write a song about Utah? But the scene is in the Senate, and the Speaker of the House calls, "I see the gentleman from Utah, our friendly beehive state. How can we help you, Utah? How can we make you great? Well, we got to irrigate our desert. We got to get some things to grow. We got to tell everybody about Utah because nobody seems to know."
Yep. I remember that beautiful voice.
How the hell can you write a song about Utah? And there it is.
Well, Mikey, I think you and I both nailed this. Where did you say? Where do you say he graduated from?
UCLA.
That's where he graduated from. After returning to California from where he lived in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh, he started eating that red beans and rice. That's what happened.
They returned to, let's see, he lived in New Orleans, Louisiana as a small child, spent summers there until he was 11 years old when his family returned to Los Angeles. And Alfred Newman, Lionel Newman, and Emil Newman, who were his uncles, and Thomas, Maria, David, and Joey, who are also composers for motion pictures. Graduated from University High School in Los Angeles and studied music at UCLA, dropped out one semester shy of a BA. In June 2021, he completed his degree.
Excellent. There you go. He had a little time to study. He got smarter.
Yeah, he cites Ray Charles as his greatest influence growing up.
Ray Charles, my God, what a player.
Yeah. His first single as a performer was Golden Gridiron Boy from 1962 that he released. Let's see. And he wrote songs for Gene Pitney, Jerry Butler, Petula Clark, Dusty Springfield, Jackie D. Shannon, the OJs, and Irma Thomas, among others.
I think the OJs, I can't remember which one they recorded of his. You remember his album, It's Lonely at the Top?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have most of his albums.
Yeah.
And then he was a part of Harper's Bazaar.
He was?
Which had the 1967 hit, Slow Down. You move too fast.
Harper's Bazaar is also famous for taking the drummer from the Beau Brummels from San Francisco and giving him a career that lasted about 10 times longer than the one he had in San Francisco.
Well, interestingly enough, as you read this, and this is like a who's who of LA music, in this period when he was with Harper's Bazaar, he began association with Lenny Waronker.
Yeah, that's a good guy to get to know.
Who had been hired to produce the Beau Brummels and the Mojo Men.
Wow.
And he brought in Newman, Leon Russell, and Van Dyke Parks to play on recording sessions, and formed a circle after Waronker was hired as the A&R guy at Warner Brothers.
And they kept that circle going. They had a conglomeration of regularly used people, like Columbia Records was not bringing in Van Dyke Parks. Warner's Reprise had their own sound and their own type of artist. And you knew that it made sense for them to sign the Grateful Dead, and it made sense for them to sign Randy Newman, and it made sense for them to sign Joni Mitchell. And the Doors, they took, Doors were on Elektra.
Yeah. But that was part of,
eventually,
was that not part of Warner at the time?
It was sold into it later, about the time that they started getting the hits, but it was run by Holtzman out of New York instead of Waronker and Joe Smith in LA. Burbank, truly Burbank.
Yeah.
The Burbank sound.
Yeah. Wow. That's a little piece of musical history that you don't always, you don't always run into.
And they weren't necessarily the artists of Laurel Canyon, but they were the artists that were on their own creative bent, and Warner Reprise would snag them and give them a shot.
Right. We, it's funny because we tend to associate now, because we see a movie or we see a certain documentary or something, or read a certain book that, there was one sound going on.
Right.
But no. There was several Southern California sounds going on. There were several New York sounds going on. There was the heavier metal stuff that was going on down in the Village. Then there was kind of the blue-eyed soul that was going on with the Rascals, and groups like that. More of I guess they call it the Long Island Sound. And in Jersey, you had kind of the beginnings, the seeds of what would become the Springsteen sound.
Yeah, what they were they were still singing Be My Baby in a more advanced way. They were
Right.
taking those classic arrangements with horns and a full section with a big sound, with a message. Like when Springsteen counts it down, he's not just telling the band when to start. They're going from silence to passion on the floor.
Right.
And that's something you can always appreciate from Springsteen and Little Steven and those guys. They know how to put on a show. Mark Shaw.
Yeah,
Put on a show.
that branch of rock and roll, the long branch of rock and roll, for lack of a better.
There you go.
The New Jersey sound. Yeah, there was something to it, and it had an anger to it. It had a festivity to it, to quote our friend Rod Long. It had it had really something that was so different, because and also one of the things I liked about it was that it had horns. And I've always been a fan of songs with horns. I always liked jazz when I was growing up, and I always liked horns being, put into rock and roll. So when Chicago came along in '68,
I was just thinking of them. You'd loved them last time we talked.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'll tell you a little story. The guy from the band Mantis that I was talking about,
yes,
he's on Facebook, and I found him, and I sent him a little note saying, "Hey, you should listen to this show."
You're in it.
You're in it. And he sent me a nice note back, man. He did. It was pretty
great.
funny, man.
By the way, thank you for wearing a shirt honoring the Polo Grounds. Tonight begins a series of a couple teams who have played together in the Polo Grounds. And as Willie Mays said, when the Dodgers and Giants get together, there's going to be blood. So there's a lot at stake tonight. Dodgers and Giants playing, Warriors and Celtics playing, and Donald Trump playing across the minds of America, as we find that the January 6th committee says, you did it and you're guilty.
That was something else last night, wasn't it?
That was something. I'm so impressed with Liz Cheney and her formality and the discipline and the delivery and the certainty with which she put her case yesterday. There's no squeak about the defense of Trump this morning anywhere in the world. No one says, "Oh, they misunderstood. Here's what really happened." They're saying nothing.
The only one that's saying that it's not right is Trump. And what do you expect him to say?
And Fox is helping.
Yeah, and his acolytes there on Fox. I didn't even tune into Fox. I didn't want to get disgusted.
But really, the defense so far for Trump is no further questions, Your Honor. I have no questions for this witness. No, you don't. You don't want to know anything more.
Well, listen, this is something that any thinking person knew.
Yes.
Any person who could look at what they saw there and followed it and kept an eye on it and saw January 6th, was actually watching live on January 6th, knew that was exactly what had happened. Now, I don't know. I didn't know that, or I had suspected that the conspiracy was as deep as it was. Trump wasn't smart enough to do this all alone.
And he did have to do it pretty much all alone with his group of lawyers, because nobody in the White House would help him.
You see that, and this is, Michael, what's wrong with this country is that you have a group of people that see this coming down the pike. They work there, they see it coming, and nobody opens their mouth. Nobody says, "Wait a minute, we got a problem here."
And it's going to start, and they can tell them where and when and how.
Right. And now you have Millie calling up the Chinese saying, "Don't worry, everything's going to be okay." Right. Yeah, you have. I guess there was one part in there where I don't know if I heard it right, and I didn't go back and look, that they had either taken or made it difficult for him to find the nuclear codes.
Millie or Trump?
No, Trump.
I didn't hear that last night.
I thought I heard that. Maybe I heard it wrong, but I thought that there was somebody that had testified or said on tape that they didn't feel safe with him having the nuclear codes.
Well, I'm sure that you're right about that. I'm sure that there was grave concern about what was going to happen for those next couple of days.
Yeah, and
But the silence of it is the remarkable part. Even the people who came to their senses turned their back on reason, and now they have to pay for it. Now they have to pay dearly for that.
how are they going to pay for it, Michael? See, that's the
Well,
other thing.
as Liz Cheney put it, your dishonor will continue. Your dishonor goes on because of the actions. You brought it upon yourself. You dishonored yourself. You will remain in that state, dishonored.
Long after Donald Trump is gone, your dishonor will live on. And you know
Yes.
what? I mean, that line struck me
Yep.
As just, long after he's gone and somebody, somewhere, somehow, these people are going to pay a price. It's like when you cheat on your wife, man. When you cheat on your wife, maybe nobody else in the world knows about it. But the great line from the movie Quiz Show
Yes.
is, long ago I had an uncle, who you call it, the prosecutor, the investigator from the Department of Justice is talking to the game show guy, the professor. And, they're walking side by side, and he says to him, long ago I had an uncle that cheated on my aunt. And he said, and he never said anything. And after she died, we were talking about it. And he said, thank God nobody knew that happened. And he said, you know what? I know it happened.
Yeah.
You
can't shake
And
that.
That's the personal hell in that is that you live with that. Now, maybe these people don't have a conscience.
That's just what I was going to say. Donald Trump bears no responsibility, no guilt.
He's a narcissist and
a psychopath.
Yeah. No, there's a word for people who don't have a conscience, and it's slipping me right now. But he doesn't care. I mean, you could see that during his presidency. There was no kids around the White House. There was nothing around the White House. There was no, when Obama was president, you had, the mother-in-law there, you had the girls, you had people around that brought their families. When Bush was president, Bush too, you had the daughters, you had the father coming to visit, the mother, the whole thing. Whoever came to visit Donald Trump on a social call?
No, doesn't exist. No, thank you. He didn't have any. He didn't have any real friends.
Yeah, it was a sterile.
Vinnie, if you think Giuliani's your friend, he's your associate. He's not your friend.
The leech.
And
he's an
another lawyer,
personal injury lawyer.
Just another lawyer that Donald Trump did not pay.
Yeah, I wonder if he got paid for all.
No, I'll bet you he did.
It would be pretty funny if he got stiffed on all of this.
Then he did. He had to. I'll bet you anything that the Giuliani, they won't even take his call. Hold on, please.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Trump cannot.
Well, I can't wait until Monday because early on the West Coast, 7 a.m., the January 6th committee resumes taking testimony and making their decisions known and how they came to those decisions and how they came to these conclusions, and all the video that they're using well dispersed throughout the conclusions, the formal presentation. And I think it doesn't leave itself open to much criticism. There is everything that they did was sworn testimony. All their conclusions were based on 17 months of study. Who knows better what really happened? And everyone had a clue. But we learned things last night that Trump made no calls to anybody. He just sat there and watched. He was waiting for it to break through. He said to himself, they haven't got inside. They haven't got Mike Pence. They haven't damaged the interior of the building. They haven't kidnapped any members of the the representatives of the House of Representatives. They haven't gotten anybody. They haven't killed anybody. Let's get going. Give them a couple more hours.
I listen. I mean, the basic premise of the whole thing is that he swore to defend the United States of America. That's what you swear in the oath. You swear to defend the Constitution and the United States of America. And on January 6th, he did neither.
In fact, he became the enemy of
Right.
all the things he swore to protect and to defend.
Right. He stood there and he watched, and the word I was looking for before was sociopath. His sociopathic behavior
Yeah.
Enabled him to just sit there and watch. His sociopathic behavior enabled him to get to not care when he knew that they were going after his vice president. He ordered him to.
Maybe he deserves it.
Yeah. He ordered him to.
And he set him up. I mean, there were like 3 or 4 references in his speech just that morning saying, this is what Pence has to do. But if he doesn't do it, I'm going to be very disappointed. I'm going to be very disappointed with him. He was setting him up right then. He knew, because he knew he wasn't going to do it. He knew he wasn't going to come through with it.
And see, here's the thing that worries me. You know, Donald Trump doesn't worry me as much as, what was it? Not that long ago, we saw Mike Pence still saying about how he did so much for this country.
Yes.
How Trump did so much for this country. How, their presidential partnership in this. I mean, what will it take to break the stronghold that Trump has on not only politicians, but the people? Do people watch this last night and go, well, was I wrong? Or did they just stay tuned to Fox, where I'm sure none of it?
You know, Fox declined to carry the conclusions of the January 6th committee, but you know who did? BBC.
Yeah.
The BBC said this is an important story for the world, and Fox said, yes, so important, we're not going to show a second of it.
Well, listen, if you go to Russia and you watch Russian state TV, what do you think you're going to see? Do you think you're going to see the protests in the street about the Ukraine? Do you think you're going to see the apartment buildings that they're bombing? No. You're going to see every tank that the Ukrainians blew up. You're going to see the military installations. You're going to see the ship that they sunk, because the narrative that they're sending out there to people is what they want you to know. That's how a totalitarian administration stays totalitarian. They can't let you know the truth. They can't let you be educated.
Image used to be that Russia was the bear, the big Russian bear. But now what Russia is the same thing we have here. Just a fox. Just a fox. Very wily, very trickster-like, very quick, never gives up on its goals and its what it intends to do. If it wants the chicken, it will continue to come for the chicken every night. Every night, the fox knows how to win. The fox knows how to deceive. The fox knows how to trick you. And that's what we have. And that's what they got, a nice Ruski fox. They can still be the bear later. But right now, they're taking the Rupert Murdoch model of propaganda as far as they can to protect their leader, who is conducting an illegal war. He's the same sort of man Donald Trump wants to be, longs to be, tried to be.
And publicly admits it.
Yes.
He has no problem publicly admitting it, saying, yeah, yeah, I love the guy in Korea. Good God, man, he's such a good guy. He knows how to run a country.
That's right.
The trains run on time in Korea.
I would love to be able to do that here. I'm just trying to get my head around exactly what he would do. Of course, Trump dreams about that sort of thing, but like so many fascist leaders, he's incapable of doing anything. He has no executive abilities. He doesn't sit in the office and make decisions. He sits in the office, watches television, never takes his jacket off, doesn't know how to eat pizza, and directs other people just to mess things up. But there's no advancement, there's no culture of Trump other than the negative.
Well, think of it like this, Michael. Let's say he would have got into office, and his big thing was, well, we're going to we're going to blow back Obamacare. We're going to get rid of Obamacare. The first day I'm there, we're going to get rid of it. We got a better plan. If he would have come up with a better plan, if he would have talked to some people, if he would have taken the advice of some people and said, okay, we'll get rid of Obamacare, but here's what we're going to do. Well, you'd say he had a plan, and he came in and he did something. And if it worked out better, he could maybe do some of the stuff that he wanted to do because he's giving the people something. He's giving them health care. And in these days, that's a major thing.
It's a big deal.
All of the different things that he said he was going to do really didn't materialize. What did he do that materialized? I remember he came, there's a plant they're putting up, Shell is putting up outside of Pittsburgh. That is a chemical plant. Now, this chemical plant was funded and started to be built when Obama was president. But he came to Pittsburgh, and he stood at the plant, and he started touting how his administration and his thing and his, and this is what we're doing for me. He didn't do it. He just stood there and took claim for it. You go back and look at what his administration did. A couple of good things that they did around criminal justice and around some veteran stuff. That was the good they did. But the harm that they did outweighs anything.
They tried to make it outweigh everything. They were going to stop the country in its tracks and just take over. And they expected the Attorney General and the Justice Department and the Army and the Joint Chiefs of Staff to come along with him, to join him in keeping power, to join him in preventing Biden from taking office, to join him in this incredible coup. We won't, if you guys come along, we won't have to fire a shot. And if it gets tough, the Army can wait on the sideline. I got the Proud Boys. We got a plan. And if there has to be executions to make sure the right people's just shut up about it and leave us alone so we can get on and keep power, we'll take care of that privately. We have a bunch of guys. Frankie and Carmine.
How long did he expect to keep power? How long did he expect? I mean, let's say, God forbid, his plan would have worked. What would have happened at the end of in 2024? Would have he done it again?
Yeah, no, there wouldn't have been an election.
Giuliani did in New York.
There was going to be no more elections. He was appointed. That's it. No more elections. And one of the things that he did, Vinnie, is we know every time there's a coup in a country, you have to have the army on your side or you can't have a coup. And Trump did everything he could to drive the army far enough away. He had just called them suckers.
Right.
You're all a bunch of suckers. Why would you risk your life for a country? Join me. You won't ever have to fire a shot. We'll take care of this thing. You guys can be army guys, and I'll be the president dictator guy.
As a matter of fact, they have these great uniforms in the closet here that Nixon left.
And you're going to love them.
I'm happy to put you in them.
Yeah.
I just have to get Flossie over there to sew Donald J. Trump collection in the inside pockets over the.
Yeah, they're Deep Space Nine special suits. 2 pair of pants.
2 pair of pants. We bought them at Bonds. Bonds was still going when these things came out.
Yeah, that's the outfit that all America would be wearing right now if Trump had gotten his way. And the people around him were afraid of that, but unwilling and unable to do anything to stop him or to dissuade him or to report him or to make sure the Senate knew the details of it, to make sure that somebody had the means to put on the brakes and prevent warfare, civil war, outbreak of hostilities. That's what that was going to be next.
Well, my big question remains, and I, I'm so anxious to find this out. So what happens now to the people that put their faith in him? Are half of them going to leave? Are any of them going to leave? Are any of them going to say, "Oh my God, I was wrong"?
I'm not seeing that yet.
Or is it going to be, it's just a witch hunt? I mean, if you had a couple of Democrats, the great thing was last night, I thought, that they didn't berate Trump. They didn't, use vindictiveness against him. They didn't, nobody, I think, on the panel, I don't remember hearing anybody say, the president did this, the president, no. We don't like him. This guy, they left it all to the witnesses. They left it all. I mean, in essence, you had his number one law enforcement officer in the country who backed him more than he didn't back him.
He sure did.
The only time he didn't back him is when he saw how crazy it was getting.
When it finally got to the bullshit level.
Right. When it got to the when it got to the level where it's okay to say bullshit on television, that's when it was all over.
That's where I always draw the line.
I draw the line when on primetime television you can say bullshit. And I mean, you can't look at this committee and say it's a witch hunt. You can't look at this committee and say, well, gee, they got nothing to do. I mean, he'll try that. That's the spin he's going to try to put on it. But even the Fox people, and the great part is when you saw Hannity up there, on the screen. I mean, that was like the push. Usually Hannity's probably a guy that anytime he's on anything, he's promoting it or it's
sure.
He wasn't promoting that last night, I'll tell you that.
No more crazy people. That's what he was telling them. You've done that. No more crazy people in this administration. And of course, Hannity was on the air opposite it, doing his regular show full of disinformation, saying, don't watch me, watch me. I'm the one you want to watch. Don't watch the other guy. He's me. I'm me. Just watch me.
It was an amazing piece of Americana. And it's so different than the Watergate hearings.
Yeah.
Because, in the Watergate hearings, you didn't have the tapes. You had the gaps in the tapes. Here, everybody's written a book before the hearings.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is call them in and say, let me hear those recordings that you have on Mark Meadows. Yeah. Let me hear those recordings that you have there, Bernstein, on Trump and what he told you. Let me hear the recordings.
Yep.
Because now everything's recorded.
Yeah, there's video of everything. There's recordings of everything. There's more than one source. What I'm waiting for, and I could be wrong, I'm only guessing about the future of these hearings. I want to hear the staff and the assistants to Mike Pence talk about what happened in their office that day and how they handled it and how close they came to tragedy and who helped them and who didn't help them and who was hoping that this was going to damage Mike Pence physically and who thought that they had a chance to save him if Trump had only helped him. But they know as well, and that's about as close to the top as we're going to get without.
Well, I think, you know what? I think by the way, on a side note, would you like to sit across the table from Jared Kushner for 5 minutes?
No, he whines.
Yeah. Oh my God. What an entitled piece of crap.
But what a strange human being.
Boy, somebody must have hit him with a board when he was a kid or something.
4x4.
I'm telling you, man, that's a scary dude. That's a scary, scary dude, man.
He's doing his own arm of evolution. He's just branching off and evolving in a very strange way all by himself.
Yeah, 30 seconds of him is enough. Dude.
I heard them complaining about what Trump was doing, but I thought they were just whining.
Yeah, they were just whining. It sounds like somebody, it reminded me of what's his name? Henry Frick. You know who Henry Frick is?
I don't.
Henry Frick was the guy that Andrew Carnegie hired at the steel mill to be his tough guy.
Oh yeah, to break the union.
To break the unions, to be the guy who, because he was just this heartless, soulless piece of crap, unhuman person, and he was the one that got brought the I think it was the Pinkertons in, if I'm not mistaken, to fire on the organizers, the union guys, and everything like that.
So he solicited murder.
Yeah, he was the one, and Kushner reminded me, because I just saw something about Frick not too long ago, and of course in Pittsburgh, there's Frick Park, and there's a lot of Frick Institute, and go Frick
Right.
yourself. I mean, there's a lot of
fricking going on.
Reminded me of Frick. He reminded me of the cold, heartless guy who says, "Don't worry, those guys lying on the floor there with the bullet holes in them,
It means nothing.
they're whining.
The Democrats hired them. They're actors.
Yeah, they're just whining."
Yeah. Hey, Vinnie, tell me something about your show tomorrow.
Oh, my show tomorrow.
No, my
We
show tomorrow.
actually have an action-packed show tomorrow.
Action, baby.
We're going to talk to a woman who has ridden her Harley Davidson around the country 13,000 miles.
Wow.
And raised $13,000 for Parkinson's, more than that, I think, for Parkinson's disease research.
How does she raise the money? People sponsor her?
Pledge by the mile. And then she also has sponsors. But I do this, I help out with this Drive for a Cure to help Parkinson's disease, help Parkinson's disease research. And it's fantastic. So we spoke to her at the beginning of the journey. She's back home in Idaho, so we're going to talk to her tomorrow morning. Also, we're going to talk to this woman who owns an RV factory down in Tacoma, but they don't make the classic RVs. They make custom retro trailers.
Ooh.
So it's like a little 13-foot fiberglass trailer that you can hook onto a car and take it, wherever you want to go. And they're so cool. They even have little fins on the back.
I love fins.
So if you have a classic car, or you want something that doesn't look like everybody else in the campground, this is the thing.
And they're custom made. What's the name of that company?
Relic. Is it Relic RV? I got it. Yeah, I think it's a Relic trailer in Tacoma.
Cool. What a good idea.
And it's an excellent idea. A one-piece fiberglass, because next week they're going to have a vintage trailer. Of course, they also rebuild. Like if you buy an old RV, let's say, and this is something that's actually going on. People are buying old RVs and they're, gutting them out and making them, fixing them up. So maybe it costs you a little less money than if you go out and buy $100,000 or $200,000. Because to buy an RV these days, $200,000 you're talking, or $150,000.
That's a lot of green.
Yeah, a lot of money. Where you can take an old one, gut it out, rebuild it, and probably do it for $70,000.
And I know there's probably people making custom RVs, but for the most part, they're not very inspired in terms of the interior and the design and the all the extras.
Well, Mikey, also what's happening is the RV business right now is in a real state of flux, because last year, normally they make about 500,000, 450,000 to 500,000 RVs a year. Last year, they put out 650,000 RVs because of the demand.
Wow.
And people are going nuts. Our friend Janet bought an RV last year.
Janet
And
Magleby?
she's had it back to the dealer like 6 times, 7 times. Because of they don't have, that they're dragging anybody they can off the street in Elkhart to build them. They're rushing them through. They're
Quality
trying
control.
to capitalize on what's going on, and the quality in these things has gone down.
That's no good. That's exactly what you don't want for the market.
Right, because the market's not going to stay like this forever. And I would rather build 500,000 RVs and build them right and charge more for them,
right,
than I would build 650,000 and try and but again, it's all about profits. Strike while the iron's hot. I mean, RV dealers are no different than car dealers.
No, certainly not.
No, they're going to try to get you, the quality, the different stuff. But again, it makes you stop and pause. Are we looking at now what we looked at in the 60s with American cars, now with RVs, where the quality is so far down? So we're going to talk to her, and we're going to find out. There's a rally next week that I'm dying to go to. It's a vintage RV rally out. So they're going to take over Roslyn. Going to go out to Roslyn. They're going to take over. I'm pretty sure we're going to broadcast live from there. I'm trying to get everything set up right now, and we'll go out there and we'll have a good take at what's going on with these things. Get a couple of tours and go out and I love it. You know what? I think they're about $30,000. If I had $30,000 lying around, I'd get one. Go out RVing.
To go places.
Country.
You got to go places. That's all.
Yeah, and they're lightweight, so you don't need the big Jagunda pickup truck.
You can drive it with a sedan.
Yeah, you can pull it with a sedan. You can pull it with most smaller SUVs.
Yes.
You can. So it's really it's a very interesting. I'm really I don't know how I got into this. I think it was during the pandemic or something. I don't know. But all of a sudden, I kind of got into the whole scene of RVs and people living in their cars and stuff living in their, in campgrounds and stuff like that. It's really a fascinating kind of subculture.
Yes. I don't know how long it takes to get totally used to it, or if you get tired of it, but there's a security to having your home right there all around you.
Yeah. I think there's some people that love it. They love the road. They love meeting different people. They love being retired. I think it's always been like that. I mean, geez, my dad wanted to, take an RV out on the road after he retired. He never got there. I mean, he passed away before he had a chance to, but that was his dream, was to buy an old, a motorhome and head out
see the world,
head out on the highway, see America, see things that he had never seen before. He wasn't interested in going to Europe or going to Mexico. He was interested in seeing the United States, seeing all the things that he had heard about, but really hadn't had a chance to really see.
Right.
So that's our show, and we will. I'm driving. Let's see. Vinnie? What are you driving this week? The Toyota Avalon.
Yes.
Yeah, big Toyota with a lot of bells and whistles on it. Really nice.
Yeah, the Avalon has gotten bigger, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's also going away.
Too big.
Yeah, well, not too big. It's just that I think that Toyota figures that people will buy Camrys.
Yeah.
And so they can make more pickup trucks with that assembly line. So the Avalon, it looks like, will disappear after this year. So, you get to drive it one more time for austerity. And then we will be reviewing the Hyundai Santa Fe XRT, named after the radio station in Chicago.
Of course it was. if only they were that good. I wish them luck. Yeah,
it's a progressive
design. I think you'll like it. So how can we hear your show tomorrow, Ben?
Mikey, all you really got to do is just click where you are right now. I mean, you just go on the Facebook thing, and we do it on Facebook, or you can go to 1150 kknw.com, and you can hear it on your phone, as many people do. We have a lot of people who listen through the phone all over the country. And of course, it comes out in podcast form every week as well on Apple, Stitcher, and your local podcast bodega.
There you go.
Wherever great podcasts are sold. Now, what do you got going this weekend, man?
I'm gonna be helping our daughter with her grandchildren through the weekend because they're going on a business trip. So we have to walk the dog, and we have to hang with a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and that's a time-consuming, physically challenging, extremely rewarding event.
Are you going to be able to do the show on Monday?
I'm not going to be able to tie my shoes. That's what I'm not going to. Or find them, for that matter.
Oh,
yes, I will put them on, but first I have to find them. And I had another physical challenge that I talked to Vinnie about off the air, so I'm pretty sore from that, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, you got to get you don't over exert yourself.
Don't overcompensate, you idiot.
Don't overexert yourself. And remember, Mikey, anytime you need a little oil, just use a little Havoline. Yes, with this thing it doesn't.
There you go. Now I see it.
Havoline from Texaco. It's great motor oil. I drink it all the time.
I will try a little of that. You know what kind of oil you never see anymore is Neets foot oil. Did you ever use Neets foot oil? The Neat being a salamander.
No.
That's what the ball players used on their gloves to break them in.
I always thought they used Busterol or something like that.
My dad always taught me, I don't know, Neat foot oil.
Wow.
Now, who catches the salamanders, cuts off their feet and turns it into oil? I don't want to know, and I can't tell you about that. But it sounds pretty strange.
That might be why we don't see it anymore.
That might be why we don't see that. Well, I think it couldn't have been an oil made from that. So I don't know why they named it that, but it was a thin oil, and it was aromatic. Neat, spelled with 2 E's.
What did it?
It softened the coarse leather and made it more pliable when you were breaking it in.
What did it smell like, though?
It was a nice smell. It was an oily smell. Nothing very outrageous or too distinctive about it, as I remember. I remember its thin quality, and I remember the can it came in, and it was a product that I only think of during baseball season when people are breaking in their gloves. In fact, I don't know how the players do it. They have the glove they use every day, but they have to have a backup glove because if that glove breaks its webbing, you need another glove. So you have to be breaking in 2 gloves at all times, it seems to me.
Well, speaking about gloves, we have the Mets remain in your neighborhood.
Yes.
To take on the Angels.
Angels just came out of a 12-game slump, but you'll say Ohtani had to do it by himself.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a. I mean, we're watching Babe Ruth here. You know,
yeah.
I mean, we really are.
He's
watching Babe Ruth. Now you got the Dodgers and the Giants again. Dodgers at San Francisco.
Yes.
So that ought to be. And Giants have fallen back a little bit. Dodgers at 37-20, and the Giants at 30-26. But
we're 6.5 out. 6.5 out is not acceptable.
No, you got to try to tighten it up. You'd like to roll into July
in first place.
Closer than that.
Yeah.
You know,
if you're going to make a run for it. I want to thank the gods of baseball. We got rid of the catcher that we had primed to take care of Buster Posey's spot was a guy named Joey Bart. And Joey, for all his talent, can't hit the damn ball. So they sent him to AAA, and they brought in a guy named Austin Wynns. Austin Wynns went to Fresno State, played for the Baltimore Orioles, played for Philadelphia. We traded a minor league pitcher for him, bringing him in for Philadelphia, and he gets his first hit in his first game. So what I'm saying is hit the damn ball, Austin Wynns, and the job is yours.
He's a
And
winner.
if you don't, we're going to find another guy that got cast off by the Twins or somebody else, and your job will be gone, just like Joey Bart's and the other guys.
Or
Hit the damn ball, or you're gone.
The other side of that is they could actually call back Buster and say, "Look, man,
You got it. You don't understand."
You're looking good. We need you."
Well, they had the opportunity. It was Duster Posey weekend a couple weekends ago. They honored his years with the Giants in the pregame ceremony, but they let him go home. That was their mistake.
That was the problem.
Should have kept him in the clubhouse.
Said you don't get to go anywhere.
No.
And then the Mariners here have the Red Sox coming in, so it's time to get out of town because the Canadian fans are a pain in the ass when the Canadians come for the most part.
The Red Sox fans are everywhere.
Insufferable, absolutely insufferable. The thing that I always wonder, and listen, I'm not you know me, I don't like the Yankees, but everywhere the Red Sox fans go, they chant "Yankees suck."
Yep.
Doesn't matter if there's not a Yankee player within 1,000 miles of where they are. They chant Yankee. I mean, it's like it's. I used to think that Philadelphia fans had the worst inferiority complex in baseball, or in any sport, actually.
Worse than Washington State? Yes.
That's college sports.
Yeah.
That's a different animal. Because, all these people didn't go to Red Sox University. I mean, see, that's the problem. If you're a Cougar fan, you get it not only when you go to the games, although the Cougars have been much better than the Huskies over the last couple of years, and they beat the living crap out of them in the Apple Cup last year.
Yep, they did. They did not Cougar.
Matter of fact, so bad that they just told the coach, "Listen, in the third quarter, just get in your car and go. Don't even coach the fourth quarter. The quarterback's got it. Just get your car, go clean out your office while the game's on,
and wear a mask.
Wear a mask and get out of here." Not like our guy who decided not to wear a mask. And where is he today?
I don't know, and I don't care.
I don't know either.
That chanting that you hate from the Red Sox fans is going on in Boston and another sport right now, as the Celtics fans have been chanting obscenities to Draymond Green, and the league has done nothing about it. The league has taken no action, no shame on you, nobody gets ejected, no security sent to the area, nothing. They chant that within hearing of the family and the children of Draymond Green.
Well, Mikey, let me ask
Boston.
you a question. What can you do?
Well, just that. Either the NBA has quality control or they don't.
I mean, do you take people's tickets away if you see them cursing? Now, if somebody stands up and physically assaults somebody or does something like that, I would hope that the NBA and the people inside the Boston Garden would eject people for that, which it's not behavior becoming a public place.
A sophisticated Boston sports fan does not act that way.
Yeah, but you see, sports fans, Mikey, it goes back to what we're talking about this country.
Yeah.
Sports has become so prevalent in our society. We worship sports now more than we worship God.
Sanity.
And sanity. We have turned into a nation who accepts nothing less than winning. There's no beauty in the game anymore. It's all about winning. You look at baseball.
Yeah.
They're taking half the beauty out of it. The stuff that you used to love, the bunt, the steal, the sacrifice, to the opposite field, because everybody wants to hit a home run, because that's what gets people excited. That's the heroine of baseball, is a home run.
That's what keeps you employed. Well, that's why I think it's the reason that they're picking on Draymond Green is he's the hardest worker on the team. He's the one who won't take crap from anybody. He's the one that has the most fouls. He's the one who gets the technical. He's the one that gets the rebound. He's the one that gets the loose ball. He's the one who gets the assist. He's the one that gets the feed. He's the one who passes it out for the three. He's in charge of the pick and roll. He's in charge of all that. And they hate him for it because he is a top of the line predator on the court. There's no off switch for Draymond Green. I love him.
It's so sad that we have taken, and this is one of the things that I feel so bad about, because you know me, I love sports.
Sure.
So do you. I mean, our relationship is built on a love of sports. And yet I see this kind of behavior and I say, this is society these days. People feel entitled because they paid $200 for a ticket that they could sit in a stand and F you
Anybody.
and curse at players. Not just, it's one thing if you're cheering or you're booing or you're this or you're that. That's one thing. That's, you know, but when you start cursing at people, when you start cursing at a family, you know, when we were growing up, I don't know about you, but there used to be guys at Shea Stadium, you know, you'd go and there weren't a lot of people. And you hear this one guy out in the, you know, out of seats, like, F you, Zesty, stop, you know. And like in 2 minutes, stadium cops, whatever, pull them out, let's go.
Hey, is that you, Bernie? Come here.
Yeah.
Come here.
Come on. And they either, you know, took them behind the stands and said, hey, behave, go find someplace else to sit, shut your mouth. Or they threw him out if he was a real a-hole.
If he really wanted to go home, they could accommodate him.
Yeah, if you don't want to stay here, I know you paid a big $1.75 for the ticket, but we know how to handle this.
For another dollar, I won't take this out of your hide.
Yeah, because people didn't stand for it. They didn't want to hear somebody say F you, you hurl insults at a player or anybody else. But somewhere along the line, we've gotten away from that. It's okay to go and scream at a player and take out all your frustrations of your crap life or your crap job.
And basketball's, you're so close and intimate.
Right.
You're right there on top of the players. And they have made comments to one another over the years in basketball, without a doubt. And certainly Boston has a reputation for being a tough town, especially on players of color, even if they play for the Celtics, even if they play for the Red
ask
Sox.
Bill Russell. Talk to Bill Russell about Boston. I mean, you know, now he's all nice about it, but
well, he went through hell.
He went through hell. He had it. As a matter of fact, he had it twice, because a lot of people don't realize this because, you know, things have changed so much. But San Francisco was a pretty racist town back in the 50s as well.
Sure, they didn't care about Wilt Chamberlain or the Dons or anybody playing basketball for them, or even when they were the national champs, San Francisco didn't give a damn. And they didn't have that was before they had pro ball. The Warriors hadn't come from Philadelphia. And when they did come, they really never found a home to play. They played in the Cow Palace. They played in another locale in San Francisco. They played mostly in Oakland. That's why they call them Golden State. Bothers me crazy because they couldn't figure out where they belonged. For a long time, I remember saying, no, we don't have the NBA in San Francisco. We have the Warriors, because they weren't a dynamic team. They were going to win anything. And then Rick Barry came along and they finally got some successes that they could call their own. And
people forget about that stuff. People forget about that. You know, people forget about that in San Francisco. You know,
couldn't be bothered.
Couldn't buy a house out in
Seacliff.
Seacliff, yeah.
Seacliff.
They wouldn't let him in Seacliff. Willie freaking Mays.
Well, he's got a place in Burlingame now, so he's doing fine.
He's doing okay, but still.
And he's 90 years old now and still working for the Giants. He's their representative of goodwill. And believe me, wherever Willie Mays goes, there goes goodwill. That's right.
Nice guy. Great guy.
And he played center field right there in the Polo Grounds. Got his start.
Yep.
And it wasn't an easy start for guys who get sent to AAA. Remember, Willie Mays did not go to the National League and become a star. It took a while.
Yeah. DeRocha really
had to talk with him.
And said, listen, man, we're going to send you back down to find your groove.
Because you don't have it.
I
know you got it.
Hey, you got to find yours, pal.
Yes. Yeah.
Remember when they suspended DeRocha for having for what do you call it, for getting divorced, or I don't even think, did he get divorced, or there was some kind of with Lorraine Day?
Did he get married? Well, he did. So he lost his mind. Okay,
Yeah,
he was a baseball player that lost his mind with a starlet.
yeah, he found the combination, man. He found the
Yeah.
right combination. That'll break a man every time.
He thought he was Bo Belinsky, but he was just Leo.
All right, Mike, you listen. We'll wrap it up for this Friday.
Have a good show tomorrow, Ben. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning for drive time. Please join me if you will. And I will see you on, hang on a second.
Gesundheit in advance. There you go. A good one.
Folks, that's how you do it, by the way. If you're in a public place, even if you're not in a public place, you hand over the mouth and nose.
Yes.
I see so many people. Oh, God. If the Lord's willing, the creek don't rise. We'll see you Monday morning at 10:10. And when we will recap everything that happened in the weekend. Are we going to be on right during the hearings or no?
They start at 7 a.m. Monday morning. So I don't know if we'll find out.
We'll figure it out.
I don't know
You
how
what?
long
We should look, and maybe we'll do like a post,
Yes.
a post game, post hearing.
We'll watch along with you and then join us for the afters.
Yeah, we have, or we can even do a watch along with. You will see how they go. I mean,
Yeah,
if it's
we will.
exciting radio. If it's exciting show, we'll do it. If it's not exciting, we'll do it later. But one thing you do it, or you do it.
And those are your three choices in life. So thank you. See you, Vinnie.
All right, man. Peace, love. Oh, before I go, I almost forgot. I just want to say congratulations to my friend Mike Brown. And you know Mike Brown.
I do, Brownie.
Yeah, I've worked with him in Cairo, and he's always in the Mariners. Used to always be in the Mariners press box. He is at 2:00 this afternoon getting married to the wonderful Amanda. And this is the nicest guy in the world, man. Mike Brown is just the nicest guy in the world.
Where are they going on their honeymoon?
I don't know. We're going to Aurora Borealis for the reception, and they get married in church up in North Seattle, and I'm going to the wedding, and I'm very excited. You know, we go to so many funerals these days. I don't go to a wedding.
Have a great life, Mike, and congratulations, and have a wonderful wedding.
All right, Mikey. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby.
What a wine.
Bye-bye.